All right, today we're diving into something almost all of us feel, that heart-pounding, palm-sweating fear of public speaking. But here's the thing, we're not just going to talk about how to survive it. Nope, we're going to talk about how to turn that raw, terrifying energy into your biggest advantage. So, let's get into it.
So let me ask you something kind of wild. Is the fear of public speaking actually worse than the fear of death? I know, it sounds totally over the top, right? But you'd be shocked how many people would say, yeah, it is.
And yeah, for a whole lot of people, the answer is a hard yes. There's even a fancy name for it, glossophobia. But all that means is that it's one of the most common anxieties out there, from students right up to top executives. So if you've ever felt that awful pit in your stomach before a presentation, trust me, you are not alone, not even close.
Okay, so to get a handle on this feeling, first we got to understand what's actually happening inside our own bodies. Because here's the secret, it's not a personal failing. It's not a lack of confidence, it's just your biology doing its thing.
And that thing has a name. It's called an amygdala hijack. Just think about that for a second. A hijack? It's when the emotional part of your brain basically screams, danger! So loud and so fast that it completely short-circuits your logical thinking brain. It's an instant, overwhelming response.
And this is where it gets really fascinating, because this is our ancient caveman brain at work, the amygdala. It's like the brain's smoke detector. And thousands of years ago, what did a bunch of staring eyes mean? Well, it probably meant you were about to be lunch for a predator, or you were facing down a rival tribe. Your brain is literally still running that old software. It sees an audience and thinks threat, and bam, it triggers that classic fight or flight response.
And let's be real, this hijack isn't just some vague feeling in your head, right? It's a full-body takeover. Your heart starts pounding out of your chest, your palms get all sweaty, maybe you start shaking a little. Your breathing gets fast and shallow. Your muscles get super tense, and then, poof, your mind just goes completely blank. But listen, and this is so important, these are not signs that you're a bad speaker. They're signs that your body's ancient survival system is working perfectly.
So, what are we supposed to do about it? You know, for decades, the advice has always been the same, right? Just take a deep breath, try to calm down. But what if I told you that's pretty much the worst advice you could possibly get? And I'm not just making this up. Check this out. A study from Harvard Business School found that a whopping 90% of people believe the best thing to do is to try and calm down. It's what we've all been taught our whole lives. Okay, now this chart right here shows you exactly why calm down is such a bad strategy. Look at anxiety and excitement side by side. Physically, they are almost identical. In both cases, your arousal level is high, your heart's racing, you've got adrenaline pumping. The only difference, the only thing that separates a feeling of threat from a feeling of opportunity is your mindset. It's the story you're telling yourself about what's happening.
And here is the proof in the pudding. In that same Harvard study, they had one group say, I am calm before speaking, and another group say, I am excited. The result? The excited group was rated as way more persuasive, more competent, and more confident. It's incredible. They didn't get rid of the energy, they just changed its name.
So, if getting rid of this energy isn't the answer, what is? Well, it's about redirecting it. And that's exactly what we're going to cover next. Some really practical, in-the-moment tools to basically hack your own biology.
All right, let's picture the absolute nightmare scenario. You're up there, you're in the middle of your talk, and your mind goes completely, totally blank. What do? Here's your 10-second emergency plan. First, stop. Just stop talking. I know a 3-second pause feels like an eternity to you, but to the audience, it just looks like you're gathering your thoughts. Second, breathe. Take one slow exhale. Make it longer than your inhale. This literally sends a "you are safe" signal to your nervous system. And third, ground. Actually feel your feet on the floor. It pulls you right back into the present moment.
And while you're doing that little 3-step reset, you can use a pro-level recovery phrase. Something simple like, let me just check my notes on that. It's not an apology, it's not admitting you're lost, it's a tactic. It buys your thinking brain those few precious seconds it needs to come back online, and you just look super prepared. Now, besides that 10-second protocol, it's great to have a few other grounding techniques in your back pocket. Mentally, you can quickly name 5 things you can see in the room. Physically, you could just tightly grip the podium or even a pen in your hand. Or you can just say something kind to yourself, internally, like, I've got this. This feeling will pass. The whole point is to find what works for you, anything that can break that panic spiral. Okay, so having those recovery tools is awesome. It's your safety net. But what if we could prevent that panic from ever really taking hold in the first place? Well, the key to that is mastering the most crucial part of any speech, the first 60 seconds. See, your anxiety is almost always at its absolute peak right at the beginning, so the strategy is simple. Own that first minute, and you own the room. You do this by memorizing your first couple of sentences. Know them cold, word for word. When you can start on autopilot, without even thinking, you build this incredible wave of confidence that can carry you through the entire rest of your talk.
And really, this all boils down to the single most important idea in this entire explainer. If you forget everything else, remember this one thing. That feeling, the nerves, the racing heart, it's not a sign you're weak. It's not a sign you're about to fail. It's a sign of readiness. It's your body handing you a shot of pure energy to help you perform at your best. It's not poison, it's fuel.
Think about it. You have this incredible system built right into you, designed to sharpen your senses and focus your mind. And once you learn how to work with it, instead of fighting against it, all that nervous energy, it becomes your greatest strength. It becomes your power. So the only question left is, how are you going to use it?